It started on a Tuesday evening, the kind that doesn't stand out for any reason. I left work later than usual and decided to take the dirt road behind the warehouses instead of the main road. It's not exactly a shortcut, but it avoids traffic. The area is mostly empty land, scrap piles, broken fences, and a few abandoned structures that nobody seems to claim anymore. I've driven that way before, but not often. About halfway through, I noticed something near a pile of old wooden pallets. At first I thought it was just trash caught in the wind, but then it moved. I slowed down without really thinking about it. When I got closer, I saw it clearly. A dog. She didn't run when the car approached. That was the first thing that felt wrong. Most stray dogs around here are quick to disappear as soon as they hear an engine. She just stood there, thin and still, watching me. I stopped the car and lowered the window. She didn't bark or growl. She didn't wag her tail either. She just looked tired. There was something else I noticed then. Her belly, it was swollen. Pregnant, I thought. Or maybe she had already given birth. I got out slowly, keeping my distance. I didn't want to scare her. "Hey," I said, softly, like that would make a difference. She didn't move, but her eyes stayed on me. There was no aggression in them, just caution. I didn't have any proper dog food in the car, just a half-eaten sandwich from lunch. I tore off a piece and tossed it gently toward her. She waited a few seconds before stepping forward. Then she ate it quickly, like she wasn't sure she'd get another chance. I felt something tighten in my chest. When I tossed another piece, she didn't eat it right away. Instead, she picked it up and turned away from me. She started walking toward a gap between two broken fences. I hesitated, then followed, slowly, keeping some distance so I wouldn't scare her off. The ground behind the fence was uneven, littered with debris. It didn't look like a place anything would choose to stay. But she kept going, and I kept following. She stopped near an old concrete slab, partially covered by rusted metal sheets. That's when I heard it. Small sounds, high, pitched and uneven, puppies. I moved a little closer and saw them. 5 of them, huddled together in a shallow space under the metal. They couldn't have been more than a couple of weeks old. The mother placed the piece of sandwich near them, then lay down beside them. They immediately started moving toward her. I stood there, not sure what to do next. It didn't take long to understand what was happening. She had been abandoned, or maybe she had wandered there while pregnant. Either way, this was where she ended up. There was no proper shelter, no clean water, nothing that would keep them safe for long. The nights had been getting colder, and the area wasn't exactly quiet. Trucks passed nearby, and I knew there were other stray animals around. Leaving them there didn't feel right, but taking them wasn't simple either. I went back to my car and sat for a minute. I had never rescued a dog before. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know if I could manage it. But I kept thinking about how she didn't run when I approached, how she chose to trust me just enough to lead me to her puppies. That meant something. I checked the time. It was getting dark. "I'll come back," I said out loud, even though she couldn't understand me. Then I drove home. The next morning I packed what I could. Old blankets, a large cardboard box, a bowl, and some proper dog food. I wasn't sure if she'd still be there. When I arrived, she was in the same spot. The puppies were tucked against her, barely visible under her body. She saw me and stood up, alert but not aggressive. I placed the food down first, then stepped back. This time she didn't hesitate as long. Hunger had probably made the decision easier. I stayed there for about an hour, just sitting a few feet away, not trying to touch her. Every time I shifted, she watched me carefully, but she didn't move away. After a while, she lay back down with the puppies again. I took that as a good sign. I knew I couldn't just grab them and leave. That would only make her panic. If I wanted to help them, I had to move slowly. So I came back again that evening, and the next day. By the third day, she would eat while I was nearby. That was enough for me to try the next step. I brought a larger box, lined with blankets, and placed it near the shelter. I made sure it was visible, not hidden. Then I moved the food closer to it. The idea was simple. Get her used to the box before trying to move the puppies. It felt like guessing more than planning, but I didn't have a better idea. On the fourth day, I made my move. While she was eating, I reached under the metal sheet and gently picked up one of the puppies. It was smaller than I expected, warm and fragile. She noticed immediately I froze. She didn't bark or snap. She just stood there, watching, tense. I placed the puppy in the box and stepped back. After a moment, she went over to the box, sniffed it, then lay down beside it. That was when I knew I could continue. It took nearly an hour to move all 5 puppies. I did it slowly, one at a time, always stepping back and letting her see what I was doing. Each time she followed, checking the puppy before settling down again. By the end, all of them were in the box, wrapped in blankets. She lay beside them, her body pressed close. I sat back, exhausted but relieved. We weren't done, but we were closer. Getting them into the car was the hardest part. The box was heavy, and I needed both hands. That meant turning my back on her, even for a moment. I lifted the box slowly and started walking toward the car. She followed immediately. I opened the back door and placed the box inside. Then I stepped back and waited. She stood there for a few seconds, looking at the car, then at me. Finally, she jumped in. The drive home was quiet. I kept checking the rearview mirror, half expecting her to panic, but she didn't. She stayed with the puppies, her head resting near them. When we reached my place, I had already set up a small area in the garage, clean, warm, and away from too much noise. I placed the box down and stepped back. She looked around briefly, then settled in again. It wasn't comfort exactly, but it was safe. That was enough for now. It's been a few months since that day. The puppies have grown, each with their own personalities. 3 of them have already found homes. The other 2 are still with me, at least for now. The mother, her name is Layla, now stayed. She's different from other dogs I've known. Quieter, more observant. She still watches me sometimes, the same way she did that first day, careful, but no longer distant. I didn't set out to rescue anything that evening. I was just trying to get home faster. But sometimes you come across something that asks for help without really asking. And if you see it, really see it, it becomes hard to walk away. I'm glad I didn't.